Prime Live. Now, this evening, we are delighted to have Ammarah Hoosen joining us in studio as the founder of Amanah, a supportive community initiative for reverts and heritage Muslims in South Africa. Now, Ammarah is a passionate person who's very also passionate about fostering a sense of belonging, trust, and empathy within our communities. Now, in this conversation, we will be having her share her insight into, Amanah's Heritage Day event and where we can celebrate the rich tapestry of the South African Muslim heritage through stories, culture, and shared experiences. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah so much for joining us on Prime Life, and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. Now, for those who are not familiar with Amanah, can you please share the inspiration behind it and just tell us a little bit more about the Amanah?
So Amanah is an organization that's deeply rooted in a sense of empathy and creating a sense of belonging for revert Muslims and allowing revert Muslims to integrate into heritage Muslim societies and communities so that we all have a united ummah as opposed to the segregation that still seems to trickle into our South African society.
That's beautiful. And can you just take us back to how it was created, when, and what actually motivated you to say, I think we need such a community?
So the real inspiration behind Amanah was definitely this idea that we're very good at giving da'wah in South Africa, but once the da'wah is given, there's not a good community for our reverts to turn to. A lot of the time when you revert to Islam, it can be a very alienating process. It can be a very lonely process. And to really foster that sense of empathy as heritage Muslims, to understand the struggles that revert Muslims face. And to understand that problem is to listen to that and really create those bonds that need to be formed.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about what Amanah does to make sure that reverts feel safe and they feel like they're part of a community?
So we have a lot of ongoing projects, little projects here and there, but our main focus is social focus. So we try to keep our events very light-hearted. Of course, there's an Islamic ethos that's at the center of all our events, but we prefer to have social events where everyone is welcome. Anyone who's interested in Islam is welcome to come through. And it's a really safe space for no judgment, because we recognize that a revert event needs to be accepting and welcoming to everyone on their journey of how they're reaching that spiritual connection. It's not like you're going to revert one day and immediately be in hijab the next day. And so that's the compassion that we try to showcase at our events.
Okay, so now that tomorrow is heritage and we are speaking about heritage, that throughout the entire show, tell us exactly what you love about, or what is it that you find, I would say, very interesting about the South African Muslim community?
So my love for the diverse South African Muslim space comes from the fact that my great-great-grandmother was a revert. She faced an immense amount of racism when she reverted to Islam and she married a Muslim person, but she was never welcomed into the society because she was of a different race group. And having that African heritage was it was so difficult for her to integrate into the Muslim society. And this is something that I'm so excited to showcase on Sunday at our event, is this deep-rooted sense of Africanism that we need to not, when we become an amalgamation of cultures, we need to not lose our deep sense of Africanism. We need to preserve our African heritage, and we need to recognize that no matter what race group we belong to, at the core of it, we're all South African. We belong to the continent of Africa, and that Africanism is something that we really want to drive home at this heritage event, inshallah.
Inshallah. And can you give us a little bit more details on the, Heritage Day event that you're planning, in terms of what can people expect? What activities do you have lined up for people who will be attending?
Perfect. So in terms of the event, we're trying to allow everyone to showcase something little about their culture. So we asked if everyone coming can prepare a little dish or something related to their heritage, and then it'll be a tea party that's very relaxed for the ladies, and we'll open the mic up to discuss family traditions and heritage and what heritage means. As you mentioned earlier, heritage means something different to every South African, and we really want to get that conversation going and understand our different understandings of heritage.
And what do you think the Muslim community can do more in order for us to be able to be more understanding and more tolerant of each other's differences, regardless of, where we come from or what race you are in? What do you think is the one thing that's mostly lacking within our Muslim communities that we can better?
I think the idea that everything is set in stone needs to be questioned a bit. If something is established as a cultural identity and part of our identity, as long as it doesn't go against the teachings of the Sunnah and the Quran, there's nothing wrong with that sense of heritage that we hold on to. Be it a traditional attire, as long as their traditional attire fits into the instructions of what Allah has told women to wear modestly, we should preserve that. We should not lose the sense of, okay, I'm an African Muslim now and I've become Muslim, so I need to almost become Indian. We need to get rid of that idea, and we need to adapt to allowing the fact that Islam is for everyone. Islam is not only for a single race group. It's for the whole world. We all have that, and that's what we need to really just empathize and understand each other's differences.
And I'm going to put you in a spot there since it's heritage. Tell us about your heritage and what is it that you love about your heritage?
I always loved speaking to my grandfather about how he knows his heritage to come about, because that is a lineage that we're able to trace like so far back, and to hear like my great-great-grandmother was Mkhize, Lillian Mkhize, and she then married an Irish man, and they had my great-grandmother, Lily, who then became Latifa when she became Muslim. And that, to me, this event in particular is something that I'm hosting in honor of her. I was unfortunately never able to meet her, but I just know that I have such a soul connection with her, because everything in this Amanah support system that I do is because of her bravery. Because if she didn't take those steps to becoming Muslim, I wouldn't have been born a Muslim. And so that's why this event means so much to me, and it's very exciting to be able to share a little bit of my heritage through this event.
That is so exciting. Now, for those who are watching right now and who want a little bit more details on the event, where will it be held, the times, share us the details.
So the event is held at Tarakur Farms. It's near Santon side. All the details are on our Instagram pages, and we've created an invite that I'm sure we'll share. Our Instagram page is Amanah_SA. All the details will be there, and in terms of the tickets are open. We're only closing RSVPs later this week. We're calling all the women to come through and just really experience different cultures and share a little bit, and we're very excited to host our event and hope that the turnout will be really, really big, and there'll be a lot of barakah in the event, inshallah.
Inshallah. And just from Amanah itself, what can we expect? Are you planning to have more activities, more events, just after also heritage? What are the plans looking like for the organization?
So in terms of our organization, we've made the rules very clear that every month we try to have an event just to touch base and keep up with everyone. Alhamdulillah, every month we have been able to keep it up. Next month we're looking at having an arts and crafts day for the young ladies, and inshallah we want to also start a series of events where we do Quran journaling and tafsir of the Quran journaling. So it'll be really nice to get more faces involved and meet new people, inshallah.
That sounds so beautiful. Now, in addition to the festive atmosphere of the event and also the cultural performances, will the Heritage Day celebration include opportunities for networking? Tell us about that, the importance of just getting into those spaces, because there's probably someone who's watching, they still need a little bit of a motivation for them to attend, right? So I want you to remind them of the importance of networking and how they will meet, fellow Muslim sisters.
These events, they always welcome in the most beautiful souls. Before I started Amanah, I always struggled to connect with females in the Muslim sphere, just as much as I think any revert would. And after our first event, meeting so many girls, it was the most wholesome activity. Everyone had this beautiful mindset of wanting to get to know everyone, and we exchanged so many numbers. We created a buddy system from that, and we've all made a sisterhood out of these events. So it's definitely worth something coming for. I mean, this is quite short notice, but there's events every month, and we always welcome everyone. Even if you're not Muslim and you're just interested in something Islamic, our events are very much welcoming to everyone, and we love to see new people.
And do you guys have a website, an Instagram page
We
that
have
you
an
share?
Instagram page. Website we don't have at the moment, but our Instagram page is Amanah__SA.
Beautiful. And also just, I want us to talk about, more about this whole idea of heritage and just coming together, as Muslims. And I think it's of utmost importance, and you're doing such a great work at what you're doing. But, when it comes to people that are reverts, they always need words of encouragement, and because they face so many things alone, and they have no community most of the time. If there's any revert that's watching right now and they're feeling low, or they feel like they're not accepted in whatever community that they're in, especially Muslim communities, what advice would you give to them?
I think it's a very overwhelming experience to try and reach out and find sisters, but there is a sisterhood out there for you, and there's a lot of compassion. When you find your girls, it is the most heartwarming thing, and it's okay to not be perfect. I think that's something that we all need to get out of our heads, because as long as we're actively striving to please Allah, there's nothing more that we can do. None of us are perfect. Even as heritage Muslims, we're trying to be better people every day, and I think that a revert Muslim is likely to feel like there's imposed pressure on the taking of their shahada and those sort of things. And we as heritage Muslims really need to foster that environment and say, it's okay, we're here to support you, we're here to understand and encourage you, as opposed to judge you or think that you're less than a Muslim just because we were born Muslim. And so that's the message that we really like to drive home, and hope to share with our revert sisters looking at coming to this event.
Inshallah. And I want us to talk about, as someone that has founded such a beautiful initiative, there's definitely challenges that comes with such organizations, because you are hosting people from different backgrounds, different people. We all brought up from different homes. You might face some challenges. And what are those challenges that you have faced particularly, and how did you overcome them?
This is a question that I get asked a lot, and I really struggle to answer it, because I don't think that we have that. This is the thing, and I think we need to break down this idea. We tend to think sometimes that people are more judgmental than they actually are. Alhamdulillah, in our events so far, we've not had any conflict, everyone's just open to listening, and that's exactly the kind of atmosphere that we try to establish, is that we don't want anyone to leave the event feeling like they're doing something wrong or feeling uncomfortable. And I think the reason that we don't have that issue is because we really open the communication. We say, if you have an issue, reach out. Let's talk about it. So alhamdulillah, we haven't had too many issues with that. I guess there's a lot of difference of opinion, and sometimes people discredit certain things, but in the large scheme of things, as long as your intentions are pure and you remember that, whatever you're doing for the sake of Allah, and you're doing it to instill that love of Allah in everyone. And after that, anyone who passes that harsh judgment, it's bound to happen, but you kind of just have to roll with the punches.
Okay. So now that I've asked you all the questions that I need to ask about the Amanah itself, I'm going to put you on the spot, right? You probably didn't prepare for this. Maybe producer sent you questions. Now I'm putting you on the spot, because it's Heritage.
Right.
It's Heritage Day tomorrow.
Right.
And I want you, before we wrap up, to give me 3 things that are giving South Africa or heritage. The first 3 things that come to mind.
Lack of rigidity, acceptance, and I don't know how to explain this, but bright colors. Like, think of the most Ndembele pattern you can think of.
Yeah.
That's giving South African heritage to me.
All right. Thank you so much, Ammarah, for joining us. I'm sure, do people ever confuse your name or call you Amanah sometimes? Because Amanah, Ammarah, I'm doing that for the entire show.
Yes,
I'm like, I better not say Amanah when it's time to say Ammarah. But Jazakallah so much. This is such a beautiful initiative, and I think you're doing such great work. And thank you so much for just trying to also, upkeep the whole heritage heritage feel amongst the Muslim community, especially where we find it very confusing to navigate heritage and culture and all of those things. So may Allah reward you for your efforts and good luck with your event tomorrow.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Viewers at home, that was Ammarah Hoosen, and she is the founder of Amanah, which is a supportive community initiative for reverts and heritage Muslims in South Africa. And she was just shedding light on the event that will be happening tomorrow in honor or celebration of Heritage Day. And if you are wondering what to do tomorrow, this is an event plug, so you better go there and create some sisterhood and create a community for yourself. But on that note, viewers at home, let's head over to a quick break. We'll see you right after this.